Good evening, good evening, good evening. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for taking the time for joining this show with Women with Wings. I am Shikha Gupta and I represent Women with Wings. Women with Wings, what is this all about? For me, the way I would want to talk about it is Women with Wings मेरे लिए एक सोच है बदलाव बदलाव लाने की एक जज्बा है कुछ कर दिखाने का एक उम्मीद है सोते हुए लोगों को जगाने की और एक एहसास है अपनों के पास होने का Women with Wings is a community of powerful, beautiful women, like minded people who come together for a common purpose of women empowerment and women upliftment. I am very proud to introduce Women with Wings to you. Moving on to our speaker for the day today, a very, very accomplished lady. I am pleased to welcome Dr. Tanishtray Gulati, who's a PhD in human resource management and who is listed as one of the 51 influential women from state of Haryana in 2021. Give it up for her, ladies and gentlemen. An HR professional by passion, an educationist, a researcher, an entrepreneur, and a social activist. जितना बोले उतना कम है डॉक्टर तनुश्री के बारे में. She is a speaker at various forums, an eminent media speaker, a panelist, a guest for multiple talk shows, and also she's held shows on international platforms from the University of Boston, UK. With 21 years of work experience in corporate and academics, she is the founder director of AHSPL and honorary director of DDPL. She is an alumni of APJ School of Management, Dwarka, Delhi, and she's also associated with various other universities and forums as a speaker, as a talk show guest, right? She also has been accredited by the cabinet minister and the ex-speaker of assembly, Shri Kanwar Pal Gujjar Singh, with Nana Mahima Award in 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big round of applause for Dr. Tanushri. Welcome, Doctor. It's an honor to have you with Women with Wings, a powerful lady, a powerful personality, a dynamic person who we are so glad to have you with us. And yes, let the show begin. Even
Thank,
before I get into, yeah, please, over to you.
thank you so much, Shikha, for such an extensive introduction of mine. So thank you so much. I'm humbled.
You deserve it, ma'am, with all due humility from Women with Wings. Even before I get to, talking about your journey, about what you have done and stuff like that, tell us a little about yourself. What is Tanushri like? How do people know her? Yeah.
Okay, if you want me to talk about me, I would rather say that coming into middle age, I really understand that the essence of life has been whatever you have been doing since a long time. Like as we say that Rome was not built in a day, right? So I remember it from my schoolhood, from my childhood, from my girlhood. So everything, every honing, being with the right kind of people, having the right stories being told, the positivity, everything came and groomed up to how it is. So that's why I'm a very strong advocate of one thing, that our next generation has to be groomed well, especially they are in the hands of erroneous parenting, which I call it. We should not be blaming them. It's more onto us that we are too much into screens, or we are too much into other stuff, ignoring, neglecting much of them. So I realized this, that very aptly said, that all of a sudden things can't happen. Things happen in a very like it takes time to groom you, to nourish you, because one thing is there for sure: life has become very fast from what we have seen in our childhood, at least what we have seen in 90s also, after digital internet came down. So life has been very fast. So you really can cope up, you really can stay happy, you really can be associated with people, both physically and on digital platform too. Everything falls in line. It's the fire, it's the passion, positivity. It all comes of because of your, the people you are associated with.
Actually, very well said, Dr. Tanishtray. And today, I think parenting has become, even a bigger challenge with pre-pandemic, current pandemic, and God knows what it will look like post-pandemic. And I think every parent, no matter how educated or uneducated the parent is, I think the bottom line every parent wants is his child to become a good citizen of the country, right?
True.
Yeah.
And education
So
doesn't come in flashy degrees. It doesn't come with, affiliation from big universities. Education is something which uh, you just happen to take the right thing from the right environment. Yes.
absolutely. And how do you put into practice, I think also matters a lot, right? And that is how you end up impacting societies, peoples, and the larger communities in general. Fantastic. I am loving this already. Yeah. It's so nice, when two people resonate with each other's thoughts. I think it's lovely. So if I have to, yeah, having, done so much in your lifespan, if I have to ask you, how did your entrepreneurial journey start? What was that first thought, that first step? हाँ मुझे ये करना है. Let me just do it. What was the driving force? What was the motivation? Because it takes guts. It
It
takes
does.
guts to do something, guts, grit, passion, perseverance. And I think you're a good combination of all of it. I was so mesmerized reading your profile. Said, Chikha, abhi bahut kuch karna hai life mein. Just like Dr. Tanushri. So let me hear it out from you.
Well, you have nailed it. There's a very interesting story about how it all started, and it very much goes away from the general traditional stories as to how an entrepreneur starts his or her life. I'll tell you what. You would hear so many people planning, even if they are first generation entrepreneur or they are the family entrepreneur, second generation. You would see so much of planning. There's so much of so much of thinking, planning, strategies, goal setting, everything going on, right? A big homework going on with it. I would call it rather that I'm blessed. I didn't have the remotest of ideas that I'm getting into this phase. Even a week before then it started. It seems like a fairy tale, but it's a fact. I tell you what, I'll just wrap it up in a very small way because I know that the online audience, patience or the, to stay with us is generally a bit low. So, taking to it, I'll wrap it up very fast. I was into a full time job, and I had a kid at that time who was just 2 years old. And it was the first time that we were visiting to my birthplace, which is Durgapur, because my kid kept on listening a lot from me about my childhood stories. And all childhood stories, the way I enjoyed school, this that, we went to picnic spot, we had terrace picnic, this how we played, went to clubs, cycling, and so many adventures we would do as teenagers, everything. So she would listen to it. She's my elder daughter, and she said one vacation in spring that we will go to your mama's birthplace. So no one was there because my father had already migrated to Kolkata in his own home, and he was serving there in ABB as an engineer. So when he retired, he moved off from there. So no one was there. We stayed in a hotel, just to satisfy and so that he could also relate. And my husband is a Delhi boy. He's a Punjabi. He's from Delhi. So he also went there for the first time along with her. And when we saw those places, we stayed there for 2-3 days. And when we saw those places, all memories were coming back to me. It was a high time for me, and they could see the spark. So I had promised to meet someone the last day when we were moving off to Kolkata, where my parents were. So are rather. So we were moving up, and the last day we were seeing after signing out from the hotel. Yeah, so, we were going to NSHM campus. It is in Durgapur. Okay, Durgapur is an
Okay.
industrial town in West Bengal. Now it has got an airport, but I'm talking of way back in 2009. Then it didn't have an airport at that time. So we went from Kolkata via Kolkata. So we were coming back to Kolkata, and I happened to meet a professor out there who came to our university and who was the inspector of our NAC accreditation from NSHM campus. So when I was meeting him and out there in the campus, there was lush green paddy fields everywhere. Okay, and we stopped and just took a deep breath and said, I don't know how, but I love this place. I don't know when I'll be coming back. And but I want to give back something to this place. Something I want to give back. I owe a lot to this land. This is what has made me. So my husband had marked the words. Okay. So that moment we cancelled coming back. Okay. We checked back into the hotel. We spoke to the dealers over there, and we found out a land which is coincidentally happened to be the most prospective land just the opposite side of an SHM. And luckily, I had a lot of investments here in Delhi because I was working in corporates just after doing my post graduation in management. So here in Delhi, there were lots of investments, and we were thinking of opening a school or investing into some institution to start with. Then the plan automatically changed, and we thought that we will have over here a project. It was a good amount of land, nearing an acre, and we thought that we will make the project in the name of our daughter, who's there, because of whom we have come revisited our childhood place. And you won't believe we finalized the deal with proper joint venture with a big brand. It's ran by IIT person, IIT Kharagpur person, and he's in Kolkata. So we joint ventured with him for the local assistance. He was going to take care of the construction, and he was going to take care of the advertisements, promotion, and selling of part also with the agencies. So this is how the business started. And within 15 days, I realized that, oh, wow, the entire money that was lying here and there, invested in certain apartments and certain projects, is all now here in this land in Durgapur, 1,500 miles away from Delhi. So that is how it's all started.
I think in this whole episode, your gut, your instinct that you should just go for it. Sometimes you just trust that instinct and you go for it. And I think that's what happened in your case. You were bold enough to take that step without thinking pros and cons, ifs and buts, kya hoga, kya nahi hoga. Let's just go for it, and then we'll figure out how do you run this business. And it's so cute. It's on your daughter's name.
Yes,
Yeah.
right. Precisely so. I think I'll send you the photographs also. Right now, we can't, otherwise, we could have shown the audience the entire front elevation and the project that I'm talking of. That was the first maiden project. Okay. When you're talking about the guts, I should tell you rather that more than guts, what helped me over here was that I'm always very comfortable with people, which I've found. They generally, you would find that girls aren't. Since the time I stepped out, I was a hostelier right from my graduation. When I was doing my graduation in Bengal itself, before even coming for my studies in Delhi, I was a hostelier. So all the typical trivial problems you would find never came surfaced in front of me. I guess because the body language of a girl really matters a lot, and at the same time, we are very instinctive to understand as to who has got good vibes and who not. And at the same time, when it comes to a girl security, Shikha, it's very important for boys either. Even boys are duped, money is taken away, money is not returned. Isn't it so? Even boys are like pulled into certain addiction, they fall into bad company. So I guess at that age, when you're into early 20s, when you're a hostelier, when you are into graduation, starting your job, meeting new people, yes, not into the safe arena of your school and your parents and out of your home, it's equally important for boys and girls either. It has not much to do with gender, discrimination over here, that we should be smart enough to understand as to which vibes to believe and trust in or not. So I've always been a people's people, wherever I've been. As I think I shared all those details with you, that in APJ also I have been the vice president of APJ during my tenure when I was there as a student. Yeah, so I'm always very comfortable with people around. So
Correct.
yeah,
You nailed it. The environment, the exposure, everything matters, right? Right from our
yes,
upbringing days, right from that time when Tanishtray was this 1-year-old little girl to evolving into a beautiful professional. I think all that matters. Go with your. We have the audience resonating with us. Shikha is saying, "Go with your emotions. Go with the flow. Listen to your heart."
right,
Beautiful.
true,
So
beautiful.
that brings me to the next point. Okay. You've set it up. You started off right. Beautiful. Now I'm sure during this journey, right, you must have faced certain challenges, certain struggles. It could be financial. It could be family support. It could be any other thing. So anything on that front, would like to share with our audience, and how did you cope up with it? Yeah.
Right, true. As I've already told you about the comfort level, that I have never found myself in a flood of strangers as a stranger. Okay, because I knew it very well that only the right people will stay with me, the others will fade themselves. They will themselves fade. You don't even need to get negative with them. Okay, because there's enough of negativity in this world already. Okay, so the negative people will find out negative people. You don't need to explain them much. The positivity stays with positive people itself. That's my own way of learning. So, having said that, when you're talking about the challenges, I know that the audience who have come over here to spend their early evening or over a weekend to attend a talk on entrepreneurship, I know that they're much intrigued to hear about women entrepreneurs' journey, right? Yes. Here, when I talk about a women's entrepreneurs' journey, I understand one problem is there, that it's just not one. First, people will think that can't be trusted upon, because marriage, marriage means whatever decision will be taken possibly will be stopped by in-laws or husband. Okay, and then there are lots of things that what if she thinks that tomorrow she has a baby, needs to focus on the baby. Okay, and your family planning comes in way, and after that you really don't know whether she will be there or not, doing something else maybe, because women in our society of India is not taken that seriously as a bread earner, okay, as boys are. So that is how it's conditioned.
You nailed it again.
Yes.
She will get married, she will have kids, she will have her own life. She's not career
Right.
focused,
Yeah.
she's not
Yes.
oriented. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Those are
So
the
as I,
social
yeah.
stigmas.
Right. So as I told you that all these challenges came my way too. There were lots of stakes taken up in my way too. But always my focus has been into productivity. Always my focus has been into what I'm getting in return and the people who are there with me, with whom I can trust and hold my hands and move forward. That's it. Okay, so the path was craved by myself. Like I got introduced to a lot of people who belonged to a known arena, as your household people would love to, they would keep on suggesting that, my friend is there still in Durgapur, he's still working, you can meet him. That is how happens, the family would keep on suggesting people within the known arena. I don't think that they are that much they feel that secure or insecure when uh, they have their boy coming into a business, right? But when they have their girl from their home coming into business, they would propose you so many things. I kept meeting people. I kept meeting lots of people from my from my in-laws part also over here in Faridabad also, and my husband's friends also. But then finally I kept stuck to those people who could resonate with me. I'm to say who accepted me the way I am, who understood me as I am, and me as an individual. Like when it is me, it is me. My decisions are not my family's decision. My decision is not my, I'm to say, my compulsion or my compromises decision. If I've given a word, I've given a word. That's for me. It's a thought of thing. So that is how it is. Really working with very comfortable people, and the circle keeps on increasing, because at different places you have to make different joint ventures. As I said that in Durgapur, the joint venture was made by a branded company in Kolkata. So at various places you make joint ventures. So you come across with the path has to be carved by yourself, and it has to be your comfort zone. Not that you are getting organized, recognized because of your dad, your brother, or someone. So no one is sponsoring you. That is what is the point. And
You
also challenges come.
reminded You
Challenges
reminded
come.
me of a beautiful line, Tanushree. I think written
Challenge.
by Gulzar, right? मैं तो अकेला ही चला था, कारवा बनता गया. That's exactly you. You started off, and people
Excellent.
joined you, people collaborated, people are with you, and all the people who are in your circle, right, have been empowering you, have been supporting you. So beautiful. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the positivity comes from people itself. The positivity can't, you can't have a sustainable positivity until and unless you have the right people around you. Okay, so there have been a lot of people who really could understand and take me in as an individual, individual, and see my dreams as to what is my dreams about the project, and they could see the same dream. That is what it is. So over here the gender discrimination never worked. It never came as a barrier to it. Second, I would like to say that generally it happens that you don't get venture capital is to invest in you if you are a
Yes.
woman entrepreneur. That's one of the very big causes, and I'm also working forward towards it. Whenever we have forum to talk about women entrepreneurs, we are raising this question and trying to talk about parity and how to get the confidence of the people, so that women folk are taken seriously, more seriously. But then I just want to say that I didn't face that problem, because as I said, I started with certain investments which I already had, so there was no bank loan story going on. And second, many a time it happens that when you are into some business and it's doing well, you are getting 200% return, because from the first maiden project, it was completed in time. Though we know, Shikha, that 2008 was of global meltdown, if you remember. There was an
Yeah.
entire global meltdown, and real estate started going down from 2008. It was a hype before that. Okay.
Yep.
So that was the
And
time
a
when
lot
the
of people
business
lost their
started.
jobs as well in that
Yes, true.
turmoil.
Yeah.
Yes.
There was mass retrenchment everywhere. Yeah, true.
Yes.
So
Yes.
2008, I started in 2009, and then like a few years down the line, it was all completed in time, absolutely completed in time. Fast forward 5 years to, there were two phases launched, and 2014 entire project was absolutely, the maiden project was sold off, and there was no bank loan. And second, what happens, I've seen that people many a time when they are doing good in business, especially with women, it happens, they feel that okay, fine, I don't need to go for my daily job now because the business is doing good. I can concentrate more into, more into my family, my babies and everything, right? See other things as well right now. But that didn't happen with me. I was very clear about one thing: I'll not take any financial loan, okay? Because this is from the investment, and whatever profit we had, we further invested that profit. So the loan stuff and these problems never came in. Only it happens that you don't become too ambitious while you're growing. Like, you don't expect your growth curve to be extremely steep. You have to have a control over your ambitions. And the second was that I never left my full-time job at that time. Yeah, I was handling
So
both business and
you were
full-time job.
trying to balance between both,
Yes, yes. I
and
still remember
home
that.
and children.
Yes.
You're a superwoman, Tanushree. I mean, how
No,
the hell?
nothing. No, nothing at all. I tell you, I just tell you what happens is that,
Uh,
like, I was extremely, I have never felt afraid of anything. Like, I have done everything very welcomingly and acceptingly. I think the moment you start accepting your things, your body feels much easy. There's no more palpitation. There's no more, like, घबराहट नहीं होती है. You don't feel out of place, you don't feel out of your skin. So the comfort comes only by your mental acceptance. So mentally, once I've accepted it, and it was my strategy, it was my thought out thing that I'm not going to leave my job. It's not because of any insecure feel that business chalega nahi chalega. That's not the point, because my husband was already into working, and my
yeah.
husband from his own part also had a lot of investment. So financially we were very strong. So it's all hard earned. Nothing that we are born with a silver spoon in mouth, but all that we have worked and we had invested in the right places. So just as, like, I always realize that, Shika, the way you would keep your investments secured with a diversified portfolio, you would have
Yeah.
some in mutual, some in property, something here, there, everywhere, right? Likewise, it's very much important as per career is concerned, that you have the career also very diversified. I have got gained a lot because of that. I've gained a lot because of that, because I've never left I was an assistant professor already in a full-time job, and a very demanding job, I must tell you. I remember that I would come from the airport carrying my toddler and my husband would see me over here in the university gate to carry my toddler, and I would go and punch my card to start the day and start the lectures. Okay. So that is how it has been,
Uh,
a weekend trip to business. So, and also the city where the project was being made, the first project was being made, no one was there. We used to check in only in hotels to stay there.
yeah.
So nothing
I,
had been, yeah, nothing has been hectic. So the challenges, what you were right now talking, is that challenges are many, but I have figured out that if you have if you're passion driven, and if you have the right people around you who are spreading positivity, that positivity you imbibe, and your positivity they imbibe. Okay, so automatically challenges get diminished. That's what I
correct.
feel.
You've extracted the maximum out of 24 hours in a day. That's what I can say. Plus, when you were saying, ghabrahat nahi hoti, mental acceptance is very important. Like there is this ad, right, which says, Dar ke aage jeet hai. Once you
Right.
accept things, one step at a time, not boiling the ocean, right? One step at a time, in a very structured manner, that I have to do the job, I have to manage this journey,
Yes.
I have to manage home, I have to manage children. So you have very beautifully compartmentalized everything, and each compartment you have taken care of very beautifully. I think hats off to you. I think this is a great thing for our audience. I had Dimple in between asking us, who are the people who supported you. I think you've already answered that. Now that, after having done so much, I also noticed you are amongst the top 50 influential women in Haryana Wow! And I'm speaking to her right now. She's right in front of me. What kind of a feeling is that? How does it feel, being a celebrity, being talked about? I think it's also not only an honor, but it's a responsibility, right, that you carry.
Yes, yes.
So how does it feel being one?
See, Shikha, before this, whatever I have done, I never thought that it's a responsibility. Only I thought that my babies are my responsibility. In fact, many a time when my husband thought that he will gain some attention, thinking that I'm a motherly figure to him, I said that forget it, then I'm a baby to you. Okay, who's going to take care of me first? Okay, so we walk shoulder to shoulder. It's not a case where I do take care of adults, I only take care of my babies. The role in home is very clear. All adults have to take care of themselves, I do my duties, that's it. So but then responsibilities towards the society was not felt that strongly. Responsibility towards the society really magnanimously increased when I saw that the press and everyone, they got to know about it. There was coverage and they started interviewing me. So initially the first it was just this year, and initially there were lots of meetings and we had an unlocking phase at that time. Again we went into lockdown stage after some time, but that was an unlocking phase when I got that award. So there have been lots of meetings, there have been lots of interviews, coverage in newspapers, and already I was associated from 2008 into radio shows, also radio stations as a speaker. So they were also trying to get as to how it is and how's the journey. So initially I was feeling that, but having told that, the responsibility still stays towards the society forever, in whatever domain you can contribute, whatever bit you can do. Yes, I realize one thing, that if the world views you in one particular way, as an inspiration
Yeah.
story to them, okay, or as many call me a role model for women, okay, but that is their world story, that is their story, okay. The way they are viewing you today, it's their story, it's not my story. Okay, for my story, I need to be happy at the end of the day. I need to be extremely comfortable in whatever I'm doing. And I feel happy when I see people around me happy, whosoever the day has been with, that the person with me who has been attached is happy and is feeling positive and feeling progressive with me. Okay. So be it home, be it outside, wherever you are making an impact and moving forward towards something, right? We are, as the days are counting, so are our experience is counting. So I understand this, that I really don't feel like a celebrity at all. I'm absolutely the way I was even 10 years back and even 20 years back, because my energy level is that of a teenager still now. So
Exactly. I can see
I
that.
don't. Yes. So, what gives me more than an award that is there yearly or whatever? What gives me happiness is that happy faces around me and my own smile when they see and they compliment me. That I have brought in some energy. If any of my friends says that, "Wow, what a beautiful day to start having spoken to you this Sunday morning," I really feel I'm so happy. So I also get energized with that.
Yeah, so beautiful, Tanishtray. I think it is all about influencing people around us, our circle of influence, friends, family, neighbors, colleagues, business associates. It could be anybody, right? Leaving an impact on people's mind or people's heart, I think is something so beautiful. And like you said, every moment, every day, every minute, every hour, you are trying to become a better version of you, right? Impacting people, impacting the
Right.
society in a
Right.
much better manner. So beautiful. Yes, I myself am feeling so energized after having this conversation with you. Fantastic.
You're
Another
yourself such a
thing,
wonderful person.
it's energy, right? It's see, in digital age, from your laptop to my laptop, the energy is transferring. So I'm also feeling energized equally.
True. All the way from Delhi to Karnataka, Bangalore, right? You're from Bangalore.
Absolutely, Bangalore, yeah, all the way from Delhi. But my roots are in Delhi, so yes, my parents are based out of Delhi, so that's where it is. Anyway, another thing that I noticed, I was going through your profile, which was very interesting, and I myself have been reading about it a lot. It is about women in STEM careers, right? I was reading an article by Times of India which said, 46% of the students who pass out in STEM are actually women. Out of that, only 14% make it to the job world, corporate world, And out of that 14%, only 4 or 5% make it to the leadership positions,
Right.
right?
True. True.
Very, I mean, you can see there's a heavy leakage, right? Where is 46% and where is 4%? And I
Right.
understand you're doing some work in the STEM space, right? Wanted to
Yes.
know your thoughts, what is it, what kind of a project, and what can we learn from it, and can we inspire more women to join STEM? Yeah, something around that.
See this awakening, I think right now, after a decade or something, after 12 years, 14 years, I hear media talking about it. But this is something I've been discussing with my colleagues and my professors when I was in engineering college. There as assistant professor, I have been teaching engineering students, and they are really found that so many girls would drop out because they are going to get married, and even they finish their degree, they won't join the job, they are not serious about their job. They have done a degree, they have used the seat of the university, okay, possibly some other, yeah, we have to see technically, because our over here there's a shortage of seats, if you see it that way, right? There's a shortage of seats, so they are not taking into job, okay. So and then we feel that okay, fine, the initial hitch, after some time possibly they will into job, and through certain social media groups I would again find that person, the student who used to be so bright with so good communication skills and so well and well spoken and intelligent in studies. So I would ask that, where are you into like, have you taken up something, are you doing for something for yourself? Would find no, okay, the metal or the spirit has somewhere got dampened. So you have the technical degree of an engineering, but then what happened that 5 years, 6 years down the line, also you couldn't find yourself comfortable in a after matrimonial affair, also that you're into matrimony for 5, 6 years now. So why? What's the reason that you couldn't come back, okay, and start something? So then they would show a lot of low self-esteem, okay, that wanted to do, but this is the problem, that's the problem, I'm staying in such place and there aren't good prospects at all, there are only factories over here, we have to travel a lot and being so late till, so I'm now in teaching in school. I said, okay, fine, you're teaching in school at least. So, but then there were lots of research that pushed me to find out more and got me intrigued, and I brought out a lot of, because I'm a researcher. So whatever pulls me, I feel that I should bring it to a global platform, and they are just not. I don't believe in making my own blog. My own blog is like my own diary. I better love to write it in my diary, maintain a diary with my paper and pen, with the feel of the pen and the paper, than write it there on the screen. I understand that writing in my diary won't invite comments. Yes, a blog does invite comments, but then I love to write more in research places where there is peer review and it undergoes proper indexing, and these indexing allows it to reach to various libraries worldwide. Okay, then when I find lots of notifications from my researchgate and sightings, that so many sightings have been done on your article, I really feel I get into their work, and it's also we exchange mails, we talk about it, that what can be
Wow.
taken further. And sometimes they invite me over their podcast to talk over it also. So this is how it happens. But still, we need more and more women to come and talk about it. We need more awareness on this field, that why so many students who are bright and hold a very strong future in STEM related fields, why do they leave after some time? Why is there so much of vacancy? And also the parity of salary which they draw is another very disgusting factor,
Another
which
thing.
discouraging factor rather, yeah, which needs to be taken up in a more serious manner. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think while you were speaking, I was thinking about another thing. Even before people entering academia, right? And we have a question from our audience as well. Dimple is asking, what is that one thing that you would like to change in academia? I think something very similar is what I wanted to also ask. Even before people get into school, colleges, right? Right from that upbringing age, right? Isn't it the conditioning that is given to the child, saying that तुम्हें doctor बनना है, तुम्हें engineer बनना है, teacher बनना है, HR बनना है, blah blah blah, right? It all starts with parenting. What kind of guidance, what kind of counseling, what kind of input is being given to this 10-year-old, 12-year-old, or 18-year-old, right? Maybe there, and then move on to academics. What is your thought process around that?
Yeah, I
I
feel,
think.
see that digitally coming into digital platform, we now many of us are mothers, many of us are guardians too. to various children around. Many of us are even extended that our job is there interacting with students. Many of us are into teaching, so where we are handling kids at home, also handling kids, a bunch of kids in our classrooms also. Okay, be it in schools, be it colleges, any sort of institution, but we are at a place where we can inspire the young minds, the minds of the young people, young girls and boys.
Absolutely.
Here, yes, here I would say that as per as my observation and observation when we have spoken with certain people in this discussion, I've seen that our general observation is that the traditional concept of pushing boys and girls towards the STEM related field is not there. Only they carry on who are made for it and who can really carry it well without stress, right? So that is
Yeah.
there. And also at the same time, it does not much have to do with gender. Like while a parent is asking the boy or the girl to do good in maths, at the same time is giving tuition to the girl as well in school level itself, or asking for how are you faring, good, you have got doubts in maths, you've got doubts in physics, come, I'll try to teach you, come, I'll extend help, sit with me over the weekend to do it. So over there also in parenting also we don't see much gender part. But one thing is very, very noteworthy, Shikha. I would on this platform, I thank you that you brought up this question. As we are technically trying to make our boys and girls, okay, and inspire them to take STEM related fields, okay, we at the same time have to train them, coach them on what? As guardians, as facilitators, coach them on what? Coach them that household chores is just not meant for girls. Okay, it's not that you have a teenager who's 15 years old and guests come in, you expect the girl to cut the salad and you don't ask your boy to do anything
What
or
to
your
do?
nephew to do anything.
I
Okay, the
love it.
nephew is playing football, soccer with the other cousins, and you call your niece to beta ana beta haath batana. Okay, call your nephew too if you're calling your niece too. If you're asking your brother to, you ask your sister, elder, younger sister also too. So this thing digitally, we are all feeling that many of us had to forsake our career, had to give a break, and our morale, the self-esteem went low. Yes, financial independence went absolutely head over heels. Yes, and the confidence and everything as to how do I, because breaking the ice takes such a long time. You are prepared, and now you feel that again the balance is getting into an imbalance when you're thinking of again joining back somewhere. And then already if you're into a middle management level, now you're taking into consultancy, so the financial thing absolutely gets disturbed because you won't be paid so much, and consultancy
Right.
is as good as your own business, as your own baby, right? So that's not a welcome change too. So we need to, wherever we women are, and all the male members of the audience who are listening to me today, all of us, it's not only the women, all of us as elders, as facilitators, we have to understand that if we are calling our girls to do certain household chores, कि बेटा एक सेकंड के लिए ग्लास पानी का यहाँ से ले जाना, okay, या दादाजी को पानी पिला दो. If you're calling your daughter, calling your boy too, okay, they should understand. At the same time, like what happens is that when they grow up, when their life partners who happen to be girls, they are working, they expect that पानी का ग्लास तो वही ले आएगी. बचपन से हमने वही देखा है कि पौधों में पानी तो वही डालेगी. Okay, that
Right.
should not be the way. The conditioning has to change. Yes,
Correct.
so it's the
And I
responsibility of
think
all of us.
with this pandemic, Tanushree, I think it has changed a lot. You should see a lot of husbands helping the wives with the household chores. कोई बर्तन धोता है and कोई झाड़ू मारता है and all that. And I think even kids, mothers have realized that it's not only the daughter who has to do this घर का काम, right? Even the beta can do घर का काम. Like you beautifully said that once these individuals grow up to find their life partners, it will be a win-win situation because the man will know how to help in the house, the boy will know how to help in the house,
Well,
and it is
I
not
tell
only the
you,
woman's responsibility.
I tell you something very interesting observation over here. The more the woman is strong, the more the woman is doing good in career, the more she's spending time outside, the more would your in-laws and neighbors and everyone would try to find out as to what is the quality of the kids getting reared over here, what is the quality of the food which is being served every day in every meal. Okay, but if the woman is a housewife, the woman is into kirtan and doing serving, the in-laws and just taking care. No one inquires ki ghar mein kya bana hai. No one inquires कि बच्चे का scores कितना आ रहा है.
हाँ,
Okay,
हाँ,
so it's not about only women, it's the male members, it's the female members. The conditioning of the mind has to change, because if a girl is going out to work, then the boy also has to work back at home. So the conditioning has to change in a very big way.
correct, correct. And I think the pandemic has made us realize that both the genders have to contribute equally, whether it is home or office. Yeah, correct.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Another interesting thing that I wanted to know from you, and I'm sure our audience will also love to know. Looking at your power packed profile, you have been a speaker in so many forums, right? Universities, institutions, different platforms, radio, TV, media. No wonder I called you a celebrity, right? How does it feel? Today you're on Women with Wings. I'm sure our audience is listening to us. They're taking a lot of insights from your journey, from what you're saying. How does it feel, when somebody walks up and says, "Thank you for impacting my life. Thank you for making a difference. Thank you, it feels good. Thank you, this was inspirational." हमारी audience भी बोल रही है. I can see the comments coming in. How does it feel?
Oh, it's a lovely feeling. And I think you yourself, you're a very strong lady, as I've seen your profile. So you also came. I tell you, it's a wonderful, beautiful feeling, because I'm doing whatever I am. Like, it's a long, long time. People who know me for years together. I'm stationed at one place here in Faridabad, I think for last 14 years now, 14 to 15 years now. Before that, in Delhi for some 8 years. So, long, long places. Even the Durgapur, the entire till college life, everything was there. So wherever we have been, I have been there for a long, long time. So people get enough of time to meet me. When you come across these people, when they say so, like, I really get a lot from my students, and they even do ask permission and call me up and take my weekends time, discussing things and discussing certain bottlenecks which they're facing. Like, I'm just in a startup, I've just started, I've invested, I've somehow managed to get money, convincing people around, because I don't want to invest my family's money into it. I want to carve my own path, as you told me. Okay. So now they are talking of marriage. Now that it has started, they're talking of marriage. So lots of problems, they keep on discussing, they keep on talking. And many message me that absolutely, look forward, have to learn from you after this, that. I guess, it really feels wonderful. But again, having said that, you make your own life the way you want to. It's not that your focus is that you want to be do something that will impress people. No, not at all. It won't even work at home also. If you try to impress people at your home, it won't work. First, you have to be happy yourself. You have to be driven, self-driven. Yes. And then whosoever understands you will stay with you. Whosoever doesn't understand, no problem. That's it.
Yeah, I think very well said. It is all about self satisfaction, self contentment, how good you feel about doing certain things. Whether सामने वाले को अच्छा लग रहा है नहीं लग रहा है, it doesn't matter, right? I have done my bit, and I will
Yes.
continue to do my bit. That is you. Wonderful. Now, थोड़ा सा एक serious question, right? And that's an area of my interest as well. I'm sure the audience will enjoy it. I did read somewhere that you're working on some cyber security issues, right? In the CSPM space and cloud computing. Now, can you tell us some details about that and cybersecurity in today with the millennial generation, with everybody going online, with everybody, everything going digital, right? Has become much talked subject about, right? Cyber crime, cyber security. So some insights on that. Uh, क्या काम कर रहे हैं आप? How do we? Yeah.
Okay,
Something.
okay. Yeah. Yeah, right. I tell you what, my interest into information technology, now it is ICT. Okay. Earlier we used to call it IT. So that has been
IT.
since my student. Yeah. We were offered dual specialization, and my specialization has been into HR and IT. So right from that time, we were talking about hubs, we were talking about hardwares, we were talking and we were learning all, Oracle and DBase and this and that from a college itself. So my specialization has been into IT, and in PhD also had picked up a topic on IT. Along with HR. Okay. It's how we leverage, how social media or Web2 technologies is leveraging the HR field. So always IT has been one very, it has been a part of my life. Like, it has been always my talks everywhere. So you would see, Shikha, you would agree with me that cloud into public, this cloud computing, all of a sudden it was there from Google Clouds a long time back. It was from 2008, 2009. Okay. But with this digital, everything getting digital, online schooling, and people starting their jobs taking digital mode, everything started with pandemic so much that the cloud spaces and everything became too much important. Okay. Talk of AWS, Amazon's, talk of Azure, talk of Google Cloud, okay, all of them. And now you would see that even smaller, you are yourself into that company, I guess, as you were just mentioning. So you would
Microsoft
see that
stack.
small, yeah, that's right. The bigger giants are also partnering with smaller giants and local cloud providing service companies to tap more entrepreneurs, because now in cloud the movement is so that people want more added bundled facilities along with just the data retrieval and automation, full automation of data. Over here it's very important as to in those remote places where we are trusting our zettabytes and gigabytes of data with
Gigabytes, megabytes. Yeah.
megabytes, zettabytes, okay, where we are trusting our zettabytes of data in those remote places where the cloud is, right? How much secured? If you see the news of the ransomware that right now in I think on 4th of July, on American Independence Day, we had a huge ransomware which created havoc, and 1500 industries were IT industries were tapped, and they asked for huge millions and billions of ransom on that, right? So much of hacking is happening, and we know how much that North Korea has already. But these are geopolitical thing. Now they are saying that Russia has done it, but let's not get
Yeah.
into it because they are not owning the responsibility of it. Nothing is into paper, so we really can't take names because it's all a geopolitical game. So let's not take names, but it's a fact that the hacking has been there, and cybersecurity is one thing. The pace at which, the speed at which we are taking in IT and we are taking in digital into digital platform, our business, our secure data, our private data, everything. Okay, regulations and meetings for regulations and bodies to regulate and make those formulation of those rules are not being done in that pace. We need to pacify it much more from IT sector. Okay, so that is what I feel, that cybersecurity is a very huge question. And with
Yeah.
all the years of data which is there, you don't know whether Russia has the data, whether China has got the data, how they're going to use it. They can just make life, if every system of the bank, online banking crash, they can make every system crash. So cybersecurity is a huge thing we really need to take care of, because when we are digital, our data is digital, the security, the way you would secure your house, you would keep locks on your house, you would keep your property and everything under a treasury. So there our digital data is at stake. So all the regulations are not happening at par as it is
That's
required.
fine.
Yeah.
Well, I think maybe a decade back it wasn't the case, or maybe 20 years back it wasn't the case. But now you have professional hackers, right? Who are into this, who are into hacking as a profession, right?
Yes.
You don't know how secure your data is, and you have all these concepts of OneDrive coming in and stuff like that, right? Where your data is backed up, your data is on cloud and stuff like that. Hacking has become a big business. So
Yes.
cybersecurity that much is at risk these days. Yeah, yeah.
It's almost, you can imagine it that way, that you are physically staying in a very secured locality with security grounds, outside your apartments, and you have your house locked when you are not there, to keep your things intact. But on digital platform you are exposed to any kind of hacker. So only for
Yeah.
this we, yeah, it's more happening because of hybrid clouding also. It's happening for multi facets, but we can take up in a different program altogether. Yes, because it
Yeah.
can't be all summed up in a short
Yeah,
time.
absolutely.
Yeah, sure. But the point is the regulation of the rules that's required, the rule of the land, that's not being set with that pace, with which pace the cloud, servicing and the cloud computing is increasing. So here the cybersecurity is a very, very big issue.
True, true. And I'm sure each and every country and each and every governing body is thinking about it, how to put more controls, how to put more regulations in place
Yes,
to make it a safer and better world for us. Yeah.
you're right.
Now coming back to entrepreneurship, you started off a journey, people joined you, you're so successful with what you are, where you are today. What would be that one piece of guidance or one piece of advice you would give to somebody like me? Say, I was also thinking, Shikha, enough. 18 years in the corporate world is enough. Let's start something on our own. It's been on my mind for a good 6 months, but I'm not able to take that first step. And I'm sure there are many women like me who are thinking. So, what is it that one piece of advice that you would want to give to such women who want to start?
I love this question. I love this question. Thank you for this. Well, if I take it that way, that you are saying that someone who wants to take the plunge, right? But there are lots of things which are, inhibiting that plunge, inhibiting it. Or I would first say, don't
Absolutely.
overthink. Don't overthink. Go ahead with something which you feel confident in, which you feel passionate about. That is one thing. And second thing, I just want to say that I didn't do much research when I started. As I told you, that the entire thing started off in 15 days and even 10 days time, even before having the wildest of dreams that in 1500 kilometers away from my base where I'm working and where my family is, that there would be a business starting up and where I'll stake my entire investment, lifetime investment, whatever has been, right? So I just want to say that you would later, when I saw and I matched it with so many entrepreneurs life, and it's just not entrepreneurs, people who are very successful as authors in art, in theaters, okay, in movies, okay, as directors and all. So if you see the worldwide thing, there has been one thing in common which has gone opposite of the current of the thought process of the people, ordinary people. I tell you that first, when you start, if you make three circles, we in maths we have studied the universal set and then the Venn diagram, then the
Right.
set inside
Those
it
Venn
and a set.
diagrams.
So I'm not teaching here right now with the whiteboard or whiteboard. So I can just tell you that if you make three circles and take the outermost circle as what, and within that what, if your second priority is why, second priority is how, okay, and the core is why, okay. So you will see the maximum entrepreneurs or the people who are into startups, they will always try to figure out and will always have a extended answer to what means what product or what service he or she is going to make, okay. Okay, right. I know I'm going to do this. Why FMCG? I want to, work on this data, educational institutions data. I want to work on content making. I want to work on this. I want to make on that. Okay, fine. Right. What is very clear, even for first generation entrepreneur, even for family run entrepreneur, right? Second comes how they know it well, from where they are going to get the resources, be it the lab, the capital required, the machines and whatever is required. Yes, the hard resources, even the soft resource like human resource, whatever is required. They are very clear about that as to what to do and how to do. How many of you think, or how many of us think about the why part, that why am I doing it? The why is missing, or the focus from why is far away. You don't think or focus on that why. But if you see just the entrepreneurs and the successful people's life the other way around, it's absolutely the opposite. They have the bigger circle as why. The reason as to why they are into is the biggest. They can talk you extensively right from the dreams which they have seen and the passion that's into it, okay. Because hardworking has to go in anywhere. Either hardworking will make your, if you do the hard work without a why or the purpose, intended purpose clear with you, that will make it stressful, okay, because you're doing it as a compulsion. But when you know the why of it, as to why am I doing it, because it is my dream, I want to do it, this is my passion. As I told you that I just stood on that land and I was just saying that I don't know how, but I want to give back to this
Yeah.
land something, okay. Never knew that in a week a company is going to get formed. Never ever I knew that, okay. But the passion was there. So for my birthplace, for the place which has given me so much, so the passion was driven. The entire project was passion driven. And once the project was during this recession time at 300%, it gave me back in financial, that gave me the confidence and established me. As you know, there were so many rating companies from Philadelphia. You would have the C3CI
Hmm.
scoring that it says it's best 11 best in Faridabad and 54 best in. I think I've sent you those data about them. So
Hmm.
then you get the confidence, and then you start rolling more plans. You try to diversify into your business. So I would request everyone first to figure out the why part, as to why is it, okay, why you want to do it. Okay, is it only finance? Okay, do you see that, feel that, do you see that instinct, do you see that passion in you, that whatever problem comes, the hurdle doesn't look up a hurdle at all, you're ready to take the plunge, and your speed is so much that in a hurdle race, what happens? The speed matters. The speed
Yeah.
makes your body leap over the hurdles. It is a momentum. You keep on moving over the hurdles. But someone who's sluggish, someone who doesn't have the drive, is pushed because of certain compulsion, because of certain reason, won't be able, would stumble upon the hurdle, won't it?
No,
Or
I
won't
think
not?
along with the drive, it's the fear of failure. A lot of times, right? What if I fail? What if it doesn't work? What if? What if? What if? Log kya kahenge? That's
So
another
there I
problem
was
in our
talking.
Indian society.
So there I was talking about the diversified portfolio. Like if the business
Mm.
really doesn't, then if you are already into a job, or you are doing some upgrade, studies to upgrade your knowledge or something, keep it on, keep it running. Yeah, that would be the best
Yeah.
thing to do.
Yeah, you have to run in, I mean, you have to be in two boats for the first few months unless you stabilize one. Yeah, then you can also, I think, cope up with the fear of failure. Correct.
For
Well
me, I
said.
won't. Yeah, I won't actually say that it's two boats, because balancing two boats, is a difficult thing. But I would rather take it that way, that you should feel very comfortable, with the
Hmm.
first thing, and then take up the second thing as an additional, and then not go too much ambitious about it. Let it roll, let it get comfortable. You also get comfortable with it. Once you know that it has break even, it has reached break even, that gives you a lot of confidence. Okay, later you can
Well,
let go. The other anchoring you can let go
yeah, let me think about it. I've been thinking a little more, maybe, yes. And I'll come back to you for more advice on it.
anytime.
Okay. This brings me to probably one last thing that I would want to know. With with what all that you're doing in terms of work, achievements, profession, blah blah blah, do you get time for yourself to pursue some passion, some hobby, something that you love doing, just you, your
Always,
quiet moments?
always,
Okay.
every time, always, every time. When I'm driving, I don't listen to the speakers. I start singing myself. I'm a crazy person.
Wonderful.
Okay, and especially when I'm in jam and it's getting into my nerves, I have to reach somewhere, because people who know me really know that I do keep to my words. Okay, if I say a time, I have to reach in time. So if the jam or the uncontrollable stuff is getting into my head, I start with a humming song to myself, and I really feel wonderful about it. Or standing in a jam, I just call up the best of my friend who would be available, I know won't get disturbed, and would pick up the call. बात भी हो गई, because महीने में नहीं किसी से बात तो होती है नहीं. Okay,
होती नहीं है।
and something or the other. So the point is, if you're counting the seconds, something is, it's not in your hands. You can't handle the control the traffic jam, right? You can't
Correct.
control certain things. So more than, it's better not to listen to those honking, but listen to your own besura singing. Okay, it's better. Okay, so and you call up and listen to the voice of someone you haven't heard for such a long time, a cousin of yours, someone who is free during the daytime, okay. Or many a time my kids also, because nowadays they're into online schooling from home. If it happens to be a break time, I call them up on a video call. Ki now the red light is going to, I'll get a second red light also. After this red light moves, there would be a second one also. It would take 2-3 minutes. I'll cover up. So time for yourself is, every time is time for yourself. Any time is
So you
time for
should
you.
hum two lines for the audience before we say bye. Why not? Come
I
on.
shouldn't have said
Your
that.
favorite number.
I put myself into the pitch now. I shouldn't have said that. Okay, I will. I will. I was just saying this also, that when I spend a lot of time with my kids, and I love to do that. My kids are not my liability. They are grooming me in a big way, because I see my childhood in them. When we play together, when we read together, there are all sorts of questions. It keeps on reminding me of my own childhood. So it refreshes me in a very big way. So it's a great way. Like, I really don't know. I think I'll become more ambitious when they grow up, because now they're kids. So now they're kids, and it's wonderful. So my me time is along with them. Fine.
Okay, so those
You
two lines from your side, yeah, something for the audience.
Okay, right, right. This is one song actually I remember, because I remember in the sense that it has got a lot of memory attached. Even now here in Manavrachna also, where I was working, whenever we would have, if we have any audience over here from Manavrachna, whenever we would have departmental meets, and whenever we would have departmental parties organized, they would ask me to sing the song, and that is how lots of memories attached to the song. Though it's not that it's one chosen for me, but I used to get a lot of requests on this song. So it goes.
Sure, go for it.
I would love you to join along with. I know you're a great
Okay.
singer. You have to join along. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. जब कोई बात बिगड़ जाए, जब कोई मुश्किल पड़ जाए, तुम देना साथ मेरा, ओ हम नवा। न कोई है न कोई था जिंदगी में तुम्हारे सिवा, तुम देना साथ मेरा, ओ हम नवा। Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And this is one of my personal favorites. See, I got goosebumps while you were singing it. It's one of my personal favorites. Tanushri, it has been absolutely so wonderful talking to you, so energizing, so inspiring. And I'm going to keep in touch with you. I'm sure a lot of people from the audience also would have taken a lot of key takeaways. Becoming an entrepreneur, a successful person, top 50 influential women of Haryana, a lovely mother, a beautiful wife. I think you have it all. You're such an inspiration. Thank you so very much for being with Women with Wings. And it's lovely talking to you.
I'm absolutely humbled, and it was so energizing, Shikha, to know you through this platform. And one thing is pending, a request pending from my side. Even I got to know that you are a great singer, so that keeps pending because we are running a bit short of time. And thank you so much for all that and bringing me to this platform. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, audience. This is Shikha Gupta and Tanushri signing off from Women with Wings. Stay tuned. We shall be back with our next program next Saturday. Sayonara. Take care. Stay safe. Bye bye.
Bye.